What is going on, guys? So we are starting the video out here in the truck. I could never start it out at home because the camera fogs up as soon as I go outside. Yeah, so we are here in the truck and we have an exciting video. Hopefully I get everything done today. I don't really have confirmation of anything as of this point, but I do have a GT350 Intake manifold, and as you can see from the title, hopefully I'm showing you how to install it on an 18 F150, which I think is the same for 15 and up F150, and we're gonna try to make some more horsepower. Last time the truck was on the dyno, it made like 405 or so on Pitbull's dyno, which is pretty good. Their dyno reads a little bit low, and 428 foot-pounds of torque. So I'd like to see somewhere around like 20-wheel horsepower or something like that. It might be sick, it might not. You know, it might only be 5-wheel horsepower, who knows? Well, I guess we'll find out today. I am low on gas, and that is on purpose. I just made it over here with 15 miles to E and a 20-mile trip to Daytona, and we're gonna go get some E85. I had some 93 in the tank. I've been running that for a little while, doing a lot of towing and stuff like that, but we're gonna fill up with some E85, and hopefully we can get everything squared away. Rob, the tune maker shoemaker, Palm Beach Dyno, is gonna be tuning it, and we might need to stop by and get some parts. I'm not sure if we're gonna use the 87mm GT350 throttle body, or if we're gonna swap over to an adapter plate with to the regular stock throttle body, and we also have to drill a hole for the map sensor. So we're gonna figure out a few things, but we'll make it happen. And as you can see, literally 2 miles to empty. So we're gonna fill it with some E85. I'll fill the whole tank and it'll be pretty dang close to E85, being that this is a 25-gallon tank, so we should get pretty close to E85. Obviously there's still a little bit of 93 in there, but it's fine. Alright guys, so fresh E85 in the tank. Obviously we're still running some 93. Obviously you can see the E10 is still in there. As we drive, this should rise up our alcohol percentage to somewhere around 70%. That's usually where I see it, around here. And we're gonna go head over to Pitbull's dyno. Obviously we have a flex fuel tune, so I didn't need to change the tune for changing the fuel, which I think is super cool, very awesome. Same thing, you can run the same tune that I have in the F150 and a Mustang, for anyone wondering. And yeah, so I am ready to go make some power. All right, so we just made it over to Pitbull Performance. I'm gonna be installing the intake manifold today. We're here with Mr. Derek and GT350 Intake manifold. We talked with Rob. He's going to send us over the tune. Hopefully IMRCs plug in. That's what he's waiting from me to check on. And we'll see if they plug in and figure out the map sensor and take you guys along the way. Alright, so here's the GT350 Intake manifold. Ton sent me the whole takeout out of his 350R, which he just put a Whipple on. And he sent me the fuel rails. I don't think I need the fuel rails, but he sent me basically the full takeout out of the car. So this should be everything we need to get it swapped. Right, Mr. Derek? That's right. Now, I gotta figure out a stepping stool so I can get up and inside the truck. Because we were taking off the factory 18 manifold, which the funny thing is, this one's black. So this is actually gonna look really similar to the GT350 Intake manifold. So if we were in a world where we were trying to play off as a sleeper, you wouldn't even be able to tell.
Nah, snake is snaky.
Yeah, but hey, if this thing gets the truck into the 12s, even with a crappy 60 foot, like it only went to 60 foot last time. So, if we still have a crappy 60 foot, but go 12s, that's awesome.
It's gonna do it.
A big truck.
Alright, let's get started. Derek, you're not allowed to help. The internet just shits on me apparently.
Using Derek's GoPro for the time lapse, so hopefully that footage came out. Manifold's out. There were 4 or 6 plastic push pins on the back for the wire harness, which makes it very annoying and hard to get back there. Once you get that off, there were 3, I think. So when you guys go to look at this, basically you're going to need to take all these plugs off, and it's very hard to see them. So you have one IMRC plug here, another one here, another one is here, and then you also have your map sensor plug down here, and you have push pins for the factory harness here, here, and as well as somewhere over here. Yep, one right here, here. So that makes it very hard to get access to this. And then you got your map sensor plug, which is all the way down here, and there was another wire harness one right here as well. So your map sensor's here. We're actually going to need to drill a hole in the 350 manifold for the map sensor in order for it to read right. So I heard that you can also do this in a brake booster, so I'm going to look at that, see if that's a possibility. If not, we'll just drill a hole in this. If I ever take it off this car, I'll make some sort of metal plate that seals it off. And what we're doing right now is we're actually going to be closing off IMRC on this because the 350 manifold, as far as I can see, is not a direct plug-in. I heard that the bullet manifold is the one that's the direct plug-in. So we're gonna show you guys how to do this. Or are you thinking
swap? I was gonna try to swap them, but
swap the sensor?
I don't think you can.
Yeah, I was thinking about swapping all the IMRC guts from this to that, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna put a blower on this thing at some point, and it's probably better off just leaving my old manifold pretty much complete. Because Rob is just gonna turn off IMRCs in the tune.
Not bad.
Oh man. Derek and I are always saying, not bad.
Not bad. Not bad.
All right, so we decided to obviously go ahead and remove IMRC. We did, however, check to see if we could transfer the IMRC from the factory F150 18 manifold from here to here. Apparently, only the bullet has the same connections. That's what I hear, because it's an 18. I guess they use the same IMRC. The bullet manifold is very similar to the GT350. Probably this is your main difference. We are going to go ahead and zip tie it. I never see anyone talk about how to zip tie it. It's actually pretty easy, and let's just demonstrate the IMRCs and how they work.
So when you open it up, the IMRC is going to close it for better fuel economy, or open it under full throttle. So definitely when you're closing these IMRCs, you're going to want to check to see, you know, which way is open, because you don't want to keep it shut. Yeah, if you
keep it shut, the truck might not even run.
It defeats the purpose. So make sure, so at the down,
make sure
right
they're
here,
open.
So that's going to be completely open. So that's where we're going to zip tie it right here.
Yep. And zip tie is okay because this doesn't get hot. This doesn't see any air. This is literally just zip tying a mechanical thing closed. And it's the most easily reversible thing too. You guys do this a lot on the 18 manifolds, right?
Yep. Yeah, we either do this or we use a really strong epoxy to close it, and then for a second assurance we use a zip tie just in case.
Yeah. I'm okay with zip tie because I may end up using this manifold on, if I ever do a Gen 2 Coyote swap or something like that.
Yep.
Because eventually the truck's going to get a blower at some point, so.
Don't know which brand, but it's going to get one, right?
Yep. And of course we repeat that on the same side. Always make sure you're not
closed.
You're not zip tying them closed, because you'll have a bad time. You'll be pulling your manifold back off. Or if you have really small hands, you can do it on the car. But really, really small hands.
Yeah,
like this guy.
I highly doubt it.
So, trying to make this video as tech involved as possible because I literally found no information on the swap. So, I mean, there's some info on an 18 manifold swap, but there really isn't much on this. So, I hear that there is another option other than drilling into the manifold. You can actually go ahead and put the map sensor in the brake booster. I'm waiting on some info on that to try to decide exactly what we're going to do here. Whether we're going to drill a hole in this beautiful GT350 intake manifold, or if we're just going to go ahead and put it in the brake booster. So if we do drill a hole in there, we can always slap a block off plate and seal it back up. Obviously resale value, someone might not want it, but I don't think I'm really going to resell it. I think I'm going to use it on a Gen 2 Coyote swap at some point. Alright, so we have decided instead of doing the brake booster method, which we figured out, basically Dorian, who has the boosted F150, has a cool YouTube channel, you guys should check it out. He sent me a picture and I think I figured it out. Basically what they did is they cut and tee, or basically just intercepted here and teed off of here. They put a plate here and a line that runs to the back. So if you don't want to cut into your manifold, you can do that. You put a T in here, run a line to the back. The only reason you run it to the back is so you can reach your factory harness. You could also extend your harness, put it out up here. The problem with that is it's not going to get a proper reading on IAT, which could cause some issues when you're trying to pull time and when things get hot. So we're going to decide to just go with a pretty much factory location in the GT350 intake manifold and just drill a hole in there. And we are going to use a self-tapper. Again, if you want to do a non-invasive method, this is it. But if you're running a boosted application, you could risk overheating and timing won't be pulled properly because it won't be getting proper IAT reading. So we've pretty much figured it out right here. So are you drilling, is this your...
That's where the bolt's gonna go.
That's where the bolt's gonna go. Yep. And we're gonna do our IAT hole here. As you can see over here, we got a nice hole there. It'll seal up and we are gonna use the self-tapper. Not exactly ideal, right?
No.
But
the only thing is you want the self-tapper to just grab with a drill and then you hand tighten it. So
yeah, exactly.
Just no.
And obviously we're gonna watch out for, make sure all the plastic comes out.
Yeah, we're gonna put some RTV around it too.
Yep. And then if I ever want to take this out, I can always make a just metal plate exactly like this. Yep. A little RTV and put it there and it'll be sealed up.
Yep.
So in theory, I don't think I would ever sell this. I want to use this on another car. If you guys are curious what's idling over here, nasty twin turbo Camaro LS3 that Sean Genovese is tuning. Absolutely sick. You might see a dyno pull here shortly.
Let's go say hi to Sean.
Say hi to Sean.
Say hi to the camera.
You gonna make horsepower?
I'm gonna try. It's running a lot better.
Nice.
We're just Ford tards and we're over here dealing with naturally aspirated stuff.
Trying to make NA things happen.
Usually it's the other way around. Usually it's the LS stuff doing NA stuff, and then it's the Ford stuff just doing boosted stuff.
Yeah.
We're the other way around today.
Yeah. The new term is coyote swapping.
So drilling just a pilot hole. Goodbye, GT350 intake manifold. Oh, rip.
It's like, bye.
Well, I guess there was nothing behind there. Important. And obviously we're gonna need to blow this thing out real good. Make sure no plastic gets in the motor or engine, whatever term you like to use.
Don't freak out, we're gonna clean it out.
Yep, I'm trying to make this video as tech involved as I can, seeing as I literally found no info on this. And this should be very similar to an 18 GT manifold swap, but in fact I think you can plug in IMRCs on an 18 manifold, and a bullet manifold I believe you can also plug in as well. So unfortunately we have a 350 manifold, so we had to delete IMRC, but I'm gonna do a supercharger eventually which has no IMRC. If the gas mileage is really bad or this doesn't end up working out, we just go back to the old one. No big deal. But I think it's gonna make some good power. Yeah, so that looks good.
So yeah, with the step up bit, it's gonna be a 1/2 inch. So for that to work completely perfectly, That's what
Yeah,
it's gonna be.
it fits in there. It fits right snug around the O-ring. So
Yeah, which exactly what we want.
Yeah.
But just for some assurance, we're gonna put a little bit of RTV.
Yeah.
Because later on, if you have a manifold leak, that's gonna be a little bit difficult to get to. So
exactly.
Definitely gonna be cool.
Yep, and then all we're gonna do, we're gonna use some air, blow this out through here and through the bottom, and basically get it clean. And then we are just gonna self-tapper a hole right in here and put this manifold on and make some power.
Should be ready to rip here shortly.
All right, so before we put the manifold in and all that stuff, we're trying to figure out our vacuum lines on the front with the brake booster and vacuum lines and everything. Here's the truck manifold. We have obviously this line here. This is gonna dangle, so this pops off of there. That's gonna go there, so we have that. That's gonna go to where on here?
No, this was the factory purge for yours.
That's the factory purge there. So we're gonna hook that up. We hook this purge off of a factory Mustang manifold. So if you don't have spare parts laying around, you might wanna pick one of these up from a parts store. This is gonna, pretty much link up right there with that. Yeah, we're pretty much gonna figure out all the vacuum lines. It's not all that difficult. It's just, you need to figure them out, and once you figure them out, they're not all that difficult.
No, they're not.
But basically everything just needs a vacuum source, and factory purge valve here, you have that needs vacuum reference, and then that has a plug on the back there. So, but we needed to block the hole since the GT350 didn't come with this purge valve, so we grabbed one off a Mustang. All right, also update, we're about to do the self-tapper, but fuel rails from the truck fit right on, so you don't have to worry about that. I did have 350 rails, but obviously 350s aren't direct injection, so that wouldn't work. We got like 2 holes on these rails. So the rails fit, and I actually put them in right now. You can actually pull the manifold without pulling the rails separately, but I just decided to pull them off since I need to switch them anyways. It was easy to pull them out. We got some RTV and a self-tapper screw. Boom. Make sure you don't get RTV on the sensor itself, but on the back side, you're pretty much good to use it generously. Make sure you don't have any vacuum.
Use blue RTV because it's good for sensors.
Yep. Self-tapper is going to go right there on the back, and yeah, it should be just going to put that in there in place. Make sure we got a nice flat surface for the self-tapper to go in.
And then you definitely want it to dry a little bit, the RTV.
Impact the f out of that.
No.
Just kidding.
No.
Torque to 100 foot-pounds?
112.
112. No, don't listen to us. You just want to make your hole, get it in there, make sure it's snug. That's it. I mean, this thing's not under boost or anything. It's just under vacuum. So if anything, it sucks in. So.
Oh, man, we put the sensor on backwards.
What? I'm like, there is no backwards. It's a map sensor, not a math sensor.
Yep.
Map first, math. Which is what Sean's dealing with over there on the Camaro.
Yeah, speed density versus math.
Yeah.
All right, now let's put the manifold in. Let's do it.
So ignore the loop of a vacuum harness here. We just didn't have vacuum plugs, so that is teeing that off, or basically just negating that out. We got the factory GT350. I'm gonna kind of tie this all together once I make sure everything works, and zip tie things, make sure it's all neat. Went off the factory vacuum harness. Basically, we had to cut, splice, and use some random hose to get this working. But everything is hooked up. I'm gonna flash the Palm Beach Dyno tune for the 87mm throttle body and the intake manifold. Still the same injectors. We should be good to go. So let's go do it. All right, guys. So on our HP Tuners N gauge, we're gonna load our Palm Beach Dyno. We're gonna get this loaded in here. So what Rob did here is he turned off the IMRCs. So it's tuned for the 87mm throttle body. IMRCs are turned off, so we should be all good there. Everything else is pretty much the same, and obviously it's tuned for the GT350 intake manifold. Let's flash this file in, and then we're gonna put it on the dyno and see the power gains. We have a baseline of this car from before. Weather's pretty much the same, so it should be a good, accurate representation. All right, moment of truth. Ready? Okay, she's got a leak. Yeah, it's got a leak. Huh? It's got a leak. From here. Yeah. Alright guys, so unfortunately it looks like we are having throttle body issues. So it's very common. I was hoping it would be okay, but the GT350 throttle body is known for a lot of issues. And I should have known better, but I kind of wanted to believe that we would be able to use it. Fortunately, we're just gonna have to pick up a throttle body adapter tomorrow, throw it on the truck, and Rob at Palm Beach Dyno is just gonna switch the tune back over to a stock throttle body, put it on the dyno, make some power, and we should be good to go. Hopefully all the vacuum harnesses is figured out. We did find an issue that we had the check valve the wrong way, so once we get the throttle body sorted out, we should be able to verify that all the vacuum harness is good, and then we'll be good to go. So we'll check in what is probably about 12 hours or more. Well, yeah, I guess more. 14, 16 hours, something like that for me. Is 1 second for you. All right, so it is the next day. We picked up this throttle body. VMP actually makes these, which is pretty cool, nice and local. Not a lot of people do GT350 manifold swaps like they used to, since 18 manifold is cheaper and similar performance, but we are using the 350 manifold on the truck. But we are going to be using the stock throttle body, and basically we just bolt this adapter up to the GT350 manifold. Oh, they have a logo there. I didn't even know that. Bolt this up to the manifold, bolt the stock throttle body on, and then we retain all the stock throttle body stuff, and then Rob is just going to change in the tune over to the stock throttle body. Turns out the reason why it's not working is the GT350 throttle body requires a converter harness from JMS or someone similar. Since 18 F150 is different from 15 to 17, it would have worked if it was a 15 to 17 truck. If I got a Bullet GT350 throttle body style, the 87mm, it would work. But all that complication, we really don't need it. We're gonna go here with the stock throttle body. Now I need to put the camera down. All right, so throttle body adapter. I believe we put that on first. It goes, looks like it goes this way. Yeah, that would make sense to me. So, just don't want to lose all these bolts. Basically just bolt this on. I'll check back in when we got it on. That's it. All right, so now we just bolt the throttle body in place. Alright guys, so stock throttle body's on. Again, ignore the vacuum lines. We left that there basically so that we can check it once we finally get it running right with the right throttle body. So we do have that on, and we should be good to go there. It looks like everything's going to fit under the stock hood. The adapter does push it out a bit, but because it's a truck, we're not going to have any issues with hood clearance, even with the intake coming up like this. So we're just gonna wait for a tune from Rob, and then we'll flash it in the truck and hopefully get it on the dyno. All right guys, Rob, the tune maker, shoemaker, just sent me the tune for the stock throttle body, so we should be good to go. All right, so everything's looking good. Guys over here at Pitbull are gonna get it strapped down on the dyno. We'll do a little bit of data logging back and forth with Palm Beach Dyno, and we'll see what it makes. We have a nice baseline from before, so hopefully we see more horsepower up top, obviously, and hopefully we don't lose too much torque, but we'll see on the dyno. Alright guys, so I want to wrap up this video. I am going to have the dyno in a different video, and the reason why is because this video, as I was editing right now, it was turning out to be 45 minutes long. So I decided to put it into 2 parts, and what I'm going to do here is just to conclude the video, I just want to show you guys everything in the truck and how this is ran, so that if you guys are following along, you got all the info. So we ended up doing quite a few things. So we had to cut up the factory vacuum line harness that came off the brake booster over here. We cut it, put a hose clamp right there. You absolutely need this check valve. You can always suck or blow and see if there is a check valve in any sort of area. That's kind of the method that we did to try to figure out what is necessary and what is not. So that is important. We also, right here, this thing is important as well. So this has a check valve in it as well, and you can suck and blow on it to verify that it's going the right way. You can put it the wrong way. So that's also very important. We have a cap here and a cap here because we don't really need that line there. Right here, so we can actually put a cap here and a cap there, get rid of this loop line here. I just have not done it yet. We have one line here that I don't actually think does anything because that's going to IMRC. So I don't believe any vacuum flows off of that, but it is teed off essentially because this gas vacuum from there, so that's just blocked off. So essentially the only thing that's important here is your brake booster line right there has to have proper check valve and it has to have proper vacuum. That is the only thing that matters. We got a PCV line, this is factory, that's normal. So really the only thing that matters is that you're getting vacuum source there, and we have a vacuum source to our factory purge valve. That's that harness that I showed in the video earlier on the factory manifold. It has a nice spot to sit. On this one it does not. So I think that covers it. Obviously map sensor plugged in all the way back behind. IMRC is deleted and none of that is plugged in the back. That is okay. This piece right here, this is what we got off the Mustang intake manifold that did not come obviously with the truck because the evap purge valve is back there. So this doesn't need to be plugged in because it's not actually for this truck. All this is doing here is sealing the hole that is in the GT350 intake manifold. So with all of that, obviously we got our catch can still plugged in. Everything is working great and we're very happy with the results. So guys, if this video helped you out, make sure you slap the like button down below. I'm considering trying out an 18 GT manifold on the truck here because it'd be cool to test that versus the 350 manifold. But I hope this gave you guys a lot of info for both 350 intake manifold swaps and 18 manifold swaps. Both this also applies to the Mustang on how to block off the IMRC connections, and this also applies for any 15 up F150 manifold swap to a Mustang manifold swap. You need to drill that hole for the map sensor. So guys, make sure you slap the like button. That really helps out, gets the video out to more people. Obviously we got much more things going on with the Mustangs, and make sure you enter the Whistler wheel giveaway. Today's the last day, so purchase some merchandise or enter for free on the Instagram post, but for every $5 spent on the website you get an entry, so make sure you check that out.